Good evening. Welcome to the 2019 ACMi ACMi annual meeting. This is our 16th year. Norm reminds me today of doing this, and we've been here for that long time. We're once again conducting our annual meeting pursuant to our bylaws and state law and IRS regulations that say we have to do this, but we like to do it anyways. I'm just John Leone. I'm the president. I'm here with our treasurer, Michael Ruderman, Norm McLeod, our executive director, and we have over here our newest director. Tonight's her first meeting. Rihanna Ash just joined us. She doesn't realize this is a lifelong commitment. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Before we would adjourn, I am going to give you our new slate of officers. Basically, your old officers and directors, except we've added Rihanna. So at the end of the meeting, we're going to take a vote of approval. Otherwise, I'm going to yield the microphone to Mr. Ruderman.
Thank you, John. The last interior page of the annual report contains our financial statements as have been reviewed and checked each year by our auditors. They have not informed us of any questions or things which need to be addressed, so we can presume that this once again is a clean audit, and the congratulations go to Norm and his staff for keeping everything in good order. We have a comfortable amount of money on hand. About 3 years ago, when I first came on as treasurer, we made the decision to take the money which had been very carefully and guardedly saved up over the years, again through the prudence of the executive director, and engage some professional money managers to put this money into the market and see if we could do better than bank interest. I'm happy to say that after just under 3 years in the market, we started with $500,000 invested. We have this afternoon $607,000 in just under 3 years. That's basically, it is tracking the market. It's been a very up 3 years in the American stock market. So we caught the wave at the right time, and we're still invested there. The money is always at our disposal, though. Question?
Is that $100,000 in interest, or was it contributed to along the way?
That is both
Interest.
Dividends paid on our holdings, plus the appreciation of a number of equities. We don't have to worry so much about unrealized or realized capital gains because it's all tax-free as the endowment money of a nonprofit. But versus the effort that it would have taken to have raised $100,000 in a 3-year capital campaign around town, I think we made a good decision back 3 years ago to get some professional managers and take the benefit of the market. The only concern that I have going forward about the finances is not in this financial statement. It's outside of that. If you've been following the rulings from the you're right, Federal Communications Commission Board, they have voted along party lines to revise their interpretation of what it means for a local cable provider to pay up to 5% of their local revenues in support of local access broadcasting, us, what we do. Federal law stipulates that we can ask them for up to 5% of the revenue. A number of cable companies have been lobbying to redefine that 5% for many years, and they finally got the ruling that they wanted, which is that the 5% would be both cash and in-kind contributions. In other words, services, availabilities, who knows, legacy hardware, the value of the wires and poles. We don't know. We do know, however, that if the cable providers decide to dig in their heels on this, they are threatening to pay us less and pay every community across the United States less for their existing contracts in support of local public access broadcasting. Boston and about 24 other cities, counties, and states across the United States have individually and jointly sued the Federal Communications Commission to overturn this ruling. All we can do is watch what happens at that level to see if this redefinition of what 5% contribution every year turns into. So it's something that we're just keeping an eye on. It's one of the reasons that we're very glad to have prudent management from the executive director and staff here, that we've always been putting away money for a rainy day. And that's our safety fund against any abrupt changes in the funding. So that's all I have. Thank you. Any question?
Do those petitions that we've been signing have any effect?
They had an effect. Yes, they let the national audience know that there are tens of thousands of people around the country to whom this matters. And even though the FCC commissioners have ruled, again, like I said, on party lines in favor of the big business interests, I'm sure that seeing those tens of thousands of online petitions filed by community members all around the country was part of the impetus of cities and towns and counties and states to take up lawsuits at the federal level against the FCC's ruling. They know that they have supporters here in the community, and they've undertaken that at their expense.
Yeah.
So we did have an effect. Yes, Lynn?
I just want to say that if someone has a question, for them to use the microphone. So just point them out to me, and I'll
Thank
take
you.
the microphone to them.
Sure.
Thanks.
We're going to hold questions to the end, though,
Okay.
generally.
Thank you, Erwin.
I retract.
Next up is Norm McLeod. Okay, well, after that background, I have nothing more to say about the finance. That was great. No, really, that was a very good summation. I just want to add one thing to that. In fact, I have it in my note here to comment. It turns out that the FCC, I should say Arlington, the Alliance for Community Media went back to the FCC and asked them to reconsider. They had to do that legally, because if they didn't do that, they wouldn't be able to move forward and go up the judicial chain, let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. So the FCC, as expected, said, no, we're not going to reconsider this. All right, so where does it go? Now it's going to go up, judicial challenge, suing. Towns are going to be suing, and are suing right now. It may go to Congress. We don't know what's going to happen. Congress, we remember, was the authority that originally passed the 1982 Telecommunications Act, a Cable Act, I should say. And this particular in-kind question and 5% does not fall under the bailiwick of what Congress originally wanted back in 1982. So this could go to Congress. And once it goes to Congress, as you know, it could sit there for a long time. Mm-hmm. All right? But nevertheless, the threat is very real in terms of community television stations or access stations around the country. Some of them, if this goes into place, some of them may go out of business. They just don't have the money because their particular supplier is going to be charging back for perhaps the bandwidth or perhaps the lines that go from the station back to the cable provider's head end. We don't know how this is all going to shake out. But nevertheless, we are going to do the best we can to maintain our operation, and we're doing that. And I just wanted to go back to my quote little script. I just want to point out one small thing here. We have actually always had the annual general meeting on a Thursday. And I thought it was pretty impressive. We're changing it to a Wednesday because of one person.
Me.
No. It was Sean Keane, our government programming guy. He's never been at an annual meeting.
Oh.
And he wanted to do this on Wednesday. Could he possibly do it? I was very impressed by that. So I want to thank you, Sean. Where are you? There he is, back in there somewhere. Okay. Where are you? Ah, there he is.
Speech.
Lights on, there's Sean. Thank you very much. That was terrific, really. And we also have the benefit of having Cheryl Braskulis here, who's always off on Thursday. But Cheryl is the wonderful person who gets all the food for us, puts it out, picks up all of your trash, puts it away. Thank you, Cheryl. That's really
Programs
great.
cast us.
If you did have a moment to look at my letter, I started by talking about the fact that there are oftentimes what's called sleeper stations. Sleeper community stations are those stations that basically don't reach out to the community. It may be a small staff, granted, maybe a small budget, yes, but they're sitting there waiting for the community to come to them. We don't do that. So I just want to point that out and show you how active we are. Could everybody, if you have the annual report, take a look at page 25. Okay, now, that's public channel programming. So you see all this public channel programming? I thought I'd take the next 2 or 3 hours to go through every one of them and describe them to you.
I'm going to cut you off there.
Yeah, exactly. No, my point actually in showing you this is how active we are. We're a vibrant station, we're growing. And we're growing in the sense that, yes, we have, for example, our board is growing. We have Rihanna Ash on board. We also have our staff growing. We have Mr. Len Diggins. Hello, Len. Len, wave your hand. Len Diggins, our staff is growing. Len is now as part of the staff as well. So we're very active, and yet, and our social media followers have all increased. Twitter, Facebook, you name it, is growing. Our followers are growing. Our open rate, you'll see it inside here, the statistics. The open rate for constant contact is 37%, which is really a high open rate for constant contact, for anything like that as a mass mailing. We've covered more meetings, we've covered more sports, and the station, again, is very, very active. The irony, again, is that the FCC is putting through these rulings that may impact us in the long run. As Mike explained, yes, we have, quote, money in the bank for a rainy day. We hope that rainy day doesn't come around, because we are $1 million station. We are $1 million station. And unfortunately, we've had to cut back on some of our activities, not necessarily in terms of staffing, obviously, as I just mentioned, but some of our advertising, marketing procedures that we normally would do have to be cut back because of, we know that the income is dropping a little bit every single year. From last year to this year, the income dropped about 2.5 to 3%, which is a lot of money when you're talking about $1 million station. All right, so what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to still fight, obviously, through larger organizations who are going to be suing. But as an individual station, there's not much that we can do to maintain the station fully by doing advertising, or rather underwriting. But that's the way we're going to try this. We're going to try and get additional money in here to offset some of the losses by going to the business community and asking them for some support. I joke about it sometimes and say, okay, it just means more money for more pizza. But no, it's more than that. It certainly is more than that. So that's one possibility, and we're cutting back in some other areas. But it's not at the point where we feel threatened in terms of our existence, but it's something that you really have to keep in mind for the future. Just let you know, too, the Mass Access is the local community access group who has put a bill into the Massachusetts State House, and that bill would put a tax on programs that are streamed, like Netflix, Hulu, etc. The idea is that they would tax them to about 5% of what that company's income would be in the state of Massachusetts. It's got to happen. I've said this years ago. There's no way that it cannot happen. Everybody, billion-dollar companies are using the highway, so to speak, to get into your home, and they're not paying a dime. Okay? So it's time that they start paying a dime, and some of that dime is going to come to us. The way this bill in Massachusetts is constructed, 20% of that income, that revenue rather, would go to the state for their general fund. 40% would go to the individual town, like Arlington. They would get 40% of that money. 40% would come to the community access station in that town, which would be us. So this is like Plan B if the cable subscribers continue to drop and income drops and in-kind laws now come in and we get charged. Well, hopefully we're going to make that up by the streaming revenue. So that's where things are at pretty much. We changed the format for tonight, and we thought we would, instead of having every individual member come up, staff member I should say, come up and make a presentation, Jonathan Barbato put together, with staff assistance of course, a very, very good overview of what ACMi has done over the past year and who we are and continue to be and will continue to be over the past year, for the next year I should say. So Jonathan, thank you. It was really a nice job. Okay, so you want to roll it, as they say?
Welcome to Arlington Community Media, Inc., ACMi. ACMi is committed to building a culture of creative empowerment for its members, and the community we've built together is stronger than ever. A primary part of our mission is to provide training and access to production gear and television production knowledge. We build learning opportunities into every production, encouraging members to learn alongside us. Workshops at ACMi are diverse, ranging from group sessions for beginners to one-on-one mentoring for advanced producers. Over several years, ACMi has built a thriving internship program that serves students from local area colleges and universities. We stay in touch through the community bulletin board, blog posts, newsletters, and social media. ACMi.tv continues to provide visitors with videos on demand and the latest ACMi updates. New videos are posted almost daily. Blog posts inform visitors of upcoming ACMi workshops. Users can fill out online forms to become members, submit videos, and send equipment reservations. The sports, youth, and intern web pages receive improvements this year, along with SEO and speed enhancements. The number of users of ACMi.tv are up 32%. The number of unique visitors is up 24%. Traffic sources to our website. Top pages accessed include ACMi's homepage, news, video on demand, GovLive, and PubLive. ACMi's social media channels have all increased in followers. Top post topics include local politics, youth programs, behind-the-scenes photos and videos. YouTube views, watch minutes, subscribers are all up 33%. Top online videos include the Ottoson Middle School's production of Beauty and the Beast, An Evening with Bradley Whitford,
I knew that I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I wanted to do it as much as I could.
Arlington High School Sports Games,
I'm Zach Garrigus, here to catch you up on what our Spy Ponders have been up to. Boys basketball locked in their first win in the tournament against Gloucester on Tuesday night.
ACMi continues to receive content from and collaborate with its community partnerships. The Arlington International Film Festival, Food Link,
is we collect food.
the Regent Theater,
Come Together is the name of the... Come Together.
the Council on Aging,
It is a scam, and it sounded so real.
Arlington Philharmonic, the Arlington Belmont Choral, the Robbins Library, as well as others. Through our Public Affairs Division, we've set up regular visits with our legislatures with the aim of keeping Arlington residents informed about developments at the State House that could impact their lives. Join in on the production fun with one of ACMi's many media groups. Studio Nights, Studio B Sessions,
So I'm feeling apprehensive, waiting for a shoe to drop. Do you think I'm being silly? I don't think that I can stop. I can't stop.
Lost in this dream of you.
ACMi News Team, Sports, Focus Media, ACMi covers and puts on many public events for Arlington residents to enjoy all year round. 3rd Annual Fido Fest, ACMi Producers Picnic, A-Town Teen Video Festival, Town Day, Patriots Day, Halloween Trick-or-Treating, as well as others. Updated data switches to our iNet improved overall performance. The Master Control Room now has a professional-grade power backup system to make sure we are always running. The SNS Edit server has provided increased speed and storage. Castus, ACMi's multi-channel playback system, manages our programming files and playlists that make up the daily schedule. Recent upgrades include channel branding and advanced features that improve HD playback. This year's new equipment has led to greater creative flexibility. Panasonic GH5S DSLR cameras, a GoPro, a 360-degree camera, VR goggles, and additional drone accessories. Software upgrades improve ACMi's control room switchers. All include new Blue graphics, BPNet file share, and cloud access. Studio B's control room upgrade includes the 40x40 SDI router.
Welcome to our late night talk show from New England. I'm Steve Katzos, and we are excited because we made it a decade!
Welcome to the Faith Speaks Show. This is Rebecca Merzias here with you, and I am so excited that you are able to join us today to speak about your faith and your walk with God.
How sweet it is to be loved by you, loved by you.
Arlington Heights could be bustling with activity if there are changes to zoning. Hello, I'm Tyler Valancourt.
And I'm Eleni Kaminas. We got a chance to see what Arlington High School is like for students, visiting them in classrooms, the library, music and CAD lab, and hearing about how the school's conditions affect them. Some going as far as saying they wouldn't wish the building on anyone.
When people ask me about my school and they're like, oh, the beautiful pillars at the front. And I'm like, you should see the inside. It's horrible.
Lexi penned the book Papu is My Hero, a story about World War II.
I'm really happy because everyone's going to get to know about his experience, and also it's going to get to be passed on because if I didn't do this, then no one would know about World War II.
I'm the luckiest man in the world. I'm very happy about that. I think guys that came back and had families, they know what I'm talking about. It's a great feeling.
If you are in Arlington and you're looking to satisfy a sweet tooth, you are in luck. The Butternut Bakehouse plans to open this spring. For Arlington Community Media, I'm Moses Small.
Here at the Regent Theater, the film Shattered tells the story of former NHL player Kevin Stevens, a story that inspires athletes as well as people from all walks of life who may have grappled with the issue of drug addiction.
In the Bell household, the mere mention of the term last call was unceasingly out of bounds.
And I wanted him buried. I requested in the casket for a phone to be put in there. And they told me it was too sacrilegious. And I said,
With
yeah.
a name like Bell, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, bird always ringing.
For ACMi News, I'm Jeff Barnes.
Hey, Dad, telephone.
ACMi has built strong relationships with various teachers and programs within Arlington Public Schools to help supplement both the curriculum and extracurricular activities for students in Arlington.
He scores! Francesco Valagusa!
Kayla Doherty has control. She's coming down the left side. She has Erin O'Brien in the net. Shot off the blocker. Oh, it goes in. It's a goal!
In addition to sports coverage, ACMi works in the schools to promote media literacy and pairs with after-school groups like the Green Team at the Thompson Elementary School, which has led to award-winning results. ACMi's government channel features content covering the town of Arlington's many government bodies, agencies, boards, and committees. Arlington is a community with a strong interest in government transparency. Special coverage highlights.
The building is old, tired, and does not work as a modern high school.
Election coverage highlights.
How is it to be at this point where the high school has been approved?
Most of all, Arlington Community Media is all about you, your passion, your efforts, and your voice. Thank you for building ACMi with us, and we look forward to another wonderful year together.
Just want to point out that that presentation began to be put together Monday.
Of course.
Good job, Jonathan. Is it possible for the entire staff to come up front, come out of the control room? Everybody.
Come on, Sean.
Everybody up front. That's all right. Everything's on automatic. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, I guess
Come on,
that's true. All right, that's fine. No, I wasn't. I mean, I'm so used to being on this side.
You folks have our applause. Yes. These are the. This is the staff that does that phenomenal work every day. I see it every day, and I just wanted to have them all come up, acknowledge them, and for you who are watching this, these are the folks that you want to talk to. They'll get your dream realized. So come on into ACMi. Thanks. Do you have questions at all for these folks? Anybody?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, wait.
You gotta wait for that.
It's on.
I take responsibility for this, but my name is not on the membership list because I don't have paper checks. Oh! I do have an account here, but is that something you can, like, I mean, I don't use paper checks at all.
It's called cash.
It's just
Give us
PayPal.
cash.
I come with cash, like
PayPal
out
is
of my wallet on the way to the studio.
PayPal is in process on the
Okay.
website now.
All
Yes.
right, good, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else? If not,
I have a question. So it's it involves me the whole thing with the FCC, and so do you think that if the state passes this legislation that you propose, that it might help out communities that don't have much in the way of access because they don't have like 3 cable stations like we do?
yeah. My understanding of this, and the question came up at a conference we went to about that same issue. What happens if a town doesn't have any community access station in it? What happens to the money that's supposed to go to the town, even though they have cable? They're getting people who are streaming. You're taking 5% of the streaming income from, let's say, Comcast, whatever it may be, but they don't have a community access station in town. So what happens to that money? Well, it's just going to go to the town directly. But you're right, that money could be used to build a station in the town, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is cool, yeah.
guess it depends on how tightly they control it.
That's right.
But right now, we get all 5%. So out of that 5%, we would only get 40% of the 5.
It would,
So-
right now, that's in
Not a-
addition.
yeah.
It's in addition to the cable income.
Hmm.
That's why it's going to be fought politically, I'm
Right.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Any
Okay.
other questions?
That's it? Anybody else?
So, two things. I want to introduce Nancy Flindarovic, our other board member who showed up.
I was late.
It's okay. She was working. And as I said earlier, I'm going to ask for a vote of approval of the membership who's here of our current slate of officers. We have 3 officers up for reappointment this year, myself, Kathy Coldwell, and Brianna's going to be presented also. Those are directors. The officers are myself as president, Mike Ruderman as treasurer, and Nancy as clerk. Can I hear a positive noises from the crowd?
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other questions? If none, thank you all for coming to our 2019 annual meeting, and we'll see you next year. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or Norm. I'm on the website, and you all know where to get me anyways. So thank you all.
Bye.